Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. Over more than a decade now of working with parents estranged from adult children, I've seen many letters and emails from estranged offspring explaining why they're seeking distance from their parents. And regardless of the tone and the wording of these messages, 100% of parents I've spoken with feel beaten up when they read these letters. Because no matter how it's phrased, the gist of it is something like, "This is why you and I are not close," or "not close anymore." And that just hurts. It's painful to take in a message like that, which is why it's so easy to forget that if an estranged adult child is writing to you, it's because at some level they hope you will use the information they're giving you. They're usually looking for some sort of change that could potentially benefit both of you. So even if it doesn't feel like it, an angry letter can be the beginning of the reconciliation process. But parents don't always understand how to make the most of the opportunity presented by an angry letter, and when I call it an opportunity, I'm very aware that such messages don't feel like that on the receiving end. They may instead feel like a final condemnation as the door is officially closing. When you receive a letter, email, or text from your estranged adult child that feels like a list of your flaws and failings, once you get over the initial shock and pain of that experience, you might recognize that you've received an important document, one that could be a stepping stone toward reconciliation. And so you may feel like you need to reply as quickly as possible so your child or children don't think you're ignoring them, or just to keep the momentum of communication going. But realistically, it will take time to really absorb their message and process your feelings about it, to get to a place where you can offer a productive and healing response. In many cases, it could take months. It's not usually hours or days. And for that reason, if you feel like you must reply soon, I suggest sending an acknowledgement of just a few sentences containing all and only the elements I'm about to list. This is the combination of elements with, I believe, the best chance of delivering everything you need to deliver with honesty and respect. And you don't have to spend a lot of time on it because you're not going to respond to any specifics that appeared in your child's message. You're just going to acknowledge their message in order to remove any pressure on yourself so that you can take all the time you need and get back to them when you're truly ready. If you feel like you're truly ready today, from what I've observed with other parents, you'll feel even more truly ready a few weeks from now, when it's unfortunately too late to go back and change what you said. I'm not going to give you specific words to use in your acknowledgement because it should sound like you, but the short paragraph I have in mind includes all of the following and only the following three pieces. 1. An expression of gratitude. Putting aside for a moment the emotional impact on you of your child's letter, they didn't have to spend the time and energy they did to let you know what's on their mind, so thank them for doing that. 2. A statement about the importance of what they shared. Let them know you recognize that what they told you is important to your relationship. And 3. A boundary. Let them know you'll respond after you've taken the time you need to absorb what they wrote. Do not offer a specific date or even a time frame. You can't be expected to do deep, meaningful reflection on a deadline. So set that boundary. You will take the time you need and then respond. If they explicitly asked you in the letter not to contact them, then either you won't respond at all right now, or the boundary element would be to acknowledge their boundary and assure them that you'll be thinking about what they wrote while you're not in contact. And that's it. Your entire acknowledgement can be literally 3 sentences long. One for each element, an expression of gratitude, a statement of the importance of your child's message, and a boundary. You might be tempted to add a brief word about something they said in their letter, or to correct a misunderstanding, or an outright lie that somebody told them. Don't do it. The 3-element acknowledgement leaves the door open for you to do anything and everything that occurs to you, now or in the future. But the minute you step outside of those 3 things, gratitude, importance, and a boundary, you close down your options one by one. And in my experience, you're likely to regret having said too much too soon. As it is, this 3-element reply allows for not 1 but 2 responses to your adult child's important message: the initial acknowledgement plus a truly well-considered, healing, and productive response later. Either one of those could trigger a reply from your child or not, but you're doubling your chances. I strongly discourage sending this simple acknowledgement and then immediately starting to work on a fuller response. If you do that, you might not actually process your adult child's letter. Writing to your child is not the same thing as processing what they wrote. It's a different activity. The act of communicating with them is an outward-focused, or at best, interpersonally focused exercise, whereas processing a challenging letter is an internal journey. Everything you need for that exploration is within you. It's not between you and your child. To help guide you on how to process a letter from your estranged adult child, I created a 2-part episode by that name. So after you've sent off your acknowledgement, get started by listening to episode 177 at reconnectionclub.com/177. Some parents listening will heed this advice. They'll send a brief acknowledgement in reply to an angry letter. They'll buy themselves time and breathing room, and they'll grow into the right next steps for them. But others will be afraid that 3 sentences aren't enough, that their adult child will resent the lack of a full and immediate response and be further angered by that. Or they'll worry that not offering a timeline for another response is cruel or makes them a bad parent. If you're in that camp, I hear you. I know the power of fear myself. I know how it can limit our choices and make us do things that keep the fear at bay in the moment, but that we later regret. So I encourage you to address fear from the bottom up, using body-based interventions to work gently with your nervous system. Look for a licensed professional to help you explore somatic interventions. But in the meantime, I'll offer you a couple of top-down ways to tackle that fear using your intellect. Here are a couple of thoughts for your brain to consider. First, if your child is emotionally intelligent, they probably know that the sooner you reply, the less likely you are to have fully absorbed what they said. And second, even if they feel your response is inadequate or taking too long, they're allowed to feel that way. If they have a low tolerance for frustration, you can't repair that by letting their feelings dictate your actions. You are allowed to take as much time as you need to respond thoughtfully to any important communication. That's your right. Meeting your child's needs and attending to relationship repair will sometimes require holding boundaries on how and when you respond to them. It is the content of your response, not how quickly you send it, that will most affect your relationship. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.